There is no one here in the public to speak.
Super, great, thanks. All right, move on to the 43 Elm Street Unit 2 update, specifically the LIP application. And Cassandra, I think I'm turning that over to you, right?
That's fine. Last I had spoken to Karis, she was talking back and forth with the state's legal counsel who has a process for reviewing the application. They had some clarifying questions and wanted a little bit more information, so Karis was working on providing that to them. I don't think she has given it to them yet. I think she was still working on compiling it. If she has given it to them, I didn't see it. But our understanding is that since they have already done a preliminary review and it's already done a preliminary review with the rest of the state staff, that once they receive this additional information, it should be a fairly short turnaround time.
Okay. Is there need for the committee or the trust to connect with Karis and see if we can't move this up in our priority list?
You could reach out to her. I do know that she has been working on it. I just don't know how long it takes for the document that she's looking for to be sent over.
Okay. I'm once again, we're a month and a half out of the completion of the project, and I'm sorry, Cassandra, I'm explaining this my thought process to my fellow trustees.
Mhm.
We're a month and a half out of the completion of the process, which on its own took a long time, and we can't market the unit. Here we are in spring selling season. We can't market the unit until the LIP application is accepted. So that's Cindy.
Question on, you said that you needed some kind of verification of the vote, which I found in my minutes or my hand noted minutes from an executive session in August. Was that sufficient for whatever Karis needed to get it moving?
It might be if you want to like make a copy of it and then send it to her and CC me. And Steve, I mean, it couldn't hurt.
Yeah, I
You
believe
told me
also our minutes as of last month indicated the very same thing, Cindy. So we do have recorded in minutes the recognition of the vote based upon Cindy's notes. And now it wasn't that we'd forgotten about the vote. We actually had a documentation identifying the date.
when I looked at the executive session notes, it was at a time that our previous counsel, Cindy Amara, was going to set up the PNS or something for it as well. So there should be some kind of documentation within the law firm itself.
Right. All right, I'll get a quick note off to Karis asking her what she needs, how can we speed this up, that sort of thing.
Just scan and send you those notes or bring it down and copy them with you, Cassandra. Whatever moves it along. I have them in front of me, but they're handwritten.
Sure, if you need to use my copier, that's fine, no problem.
Yeah, it can't, Cindy, thank you. It can't hurt, right?
Take care of it. I'll see if I can't get down there today then.
Okay, great.
Just so you know, I am at 135 King Street. Don't go to Town Hall.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I made that mistake yesterday. Okay.
135 King Street, you know
Yay, that's great.
That's
You're
now
making
being
use of the
renovated.
space. That's awesome.
Okay, so next item on the agenda, 39 Mill Lane deed recording. And
Karis did pick up the deed
okay,
to record. I presume it has been recorded, though I haven't received a copy of the recording. But she picked it up, I think it was last week.
thank you
Last Tuesday.
all. Yeah, thank you all for getting signatures on that. That's much appreciated. It seems like a small thing, but I'd rather have us buttoned up than leave stuff out there flapping. Okay. And then that brings us to our last item on this agenda, which is the Affordable Housing Steering Committee update, with Paul Kearse. And I don't see that Paul is with us.
He is not here. I did confirm with him that he was planning to be in attendance, and he did reply to say that he was.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to hang around for that. It's disappointing. I know he wanted to talk about a couple of parcels that he was, I should say his committee is targeting. All righty. Well, let's get on to the administrative stuff then. Oh, by the way, in administrative, Paul, it's not on the agenda, but I figured I'd ask in any case. Have the selectmen gone any further with respect to review of additional members for the trust, or I should say, members for the trust where we have seats open?
We're doing a full core press, Steve. It comes out that in the end of every meeting, Ellen's bringing it up, is inviting people to join, to get on. I've done the same. You know, we've got a lot of spots that we've got to fill, and affordable housing is one of them, obviously. So we're reaching out at the end of every meeting, select board comments. We have setting up a forum, and not just a forum, but well, for Christ's sakes, I'm sorry.
An application?
Applications we're setting up. We're going to set up a table at one of the events. There's a couple things coming up. We're trying to do a full core press to get people involved.
Okay.
I'm trying to come up with something. I mean, what can we do to make it more attractive to people? We found that, you know, we've become very much a dual working town, both, you know, husband and wife working. So we're really trying to fine tune it to see if we can shorten them, just to narrow, even if we stretch out agendas, is what's going to make it more attractive to people just to get on and contribute.
Would say
Go ahead, Cindy.
short meeting guarantees, efficient meetings, I think, are clearly in people's favor.
Yeah. You do. That's where you hear it a lot. Just so you guys have probably all heard this, and Steve, you most of all, because you're being on the select board. So people, well, I can't be out till 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock or whatever, you know, just, can we just narrow the agenda, get it moving? And, you know, you sacrifice time for maybe efficiency, I suppose, you know, people getting their wants.
There's a couple of things.
Doing anything at the health fair that's coming up at the end of March?
We are, Cindy. So there's going to be tables. So we're going to be, again, we're trying to get people, as many people in as we possibly can. Welcoming applications.
A couple of things that that may be worth examining, Paul, and I say this because ultimately the select board has management of this stuff. You hit it right on the head. You can gather a group of people and become highly productive, or you can gather a group of people and end up chatting for 4 hours and accomplish nothing, right? You know, the old joke exists for a reason. A camel was a horse designed by a committee, right? And I have to say that I've had the great good fortune of working on one version of 6 select boards, which was extraordinarily productive. 12 years on capital budget, which was likewise extraordinarily productive. And this, the Affordable Housing Trust, which is without a doubt the most functional group I've ever dealt with on a consistent basis. And ultimately what it comes down to, I think, is something that was pressed home early on in my work by a then town manager who made the points which live today. Is you go into the meeting with an agenda, you stick to the agenda, and you look at what you need to accomplish, right? The idea is that whatever goes on that agenda is something that you could, around which you could formulate action. Because to keep people interested, they've got to feel like they're actually achieving something. And I say that as a small thing. Look, we have struggled, as our group has struggled to make achievements. But when I go back and look at it, what are the achievements? Well, we actually have a funded trust, not a small thing. We have worked with Habitat for Humanity to get a project off the ground, which will produce 2 new units. Nice to see. Within the next, 5 or 6 months. We bought and learned an awful lot of lessons about renovating a unit. And so I look back and I say, hey, you know what? Over 3 or 4 years, we've actually got some things to post and say, we did this, we did this, we did this. My point in all of that is, assuming that you're looking at chairmanship, right? That's a possibility for you on the select board. One of the driving points I would suggest is that you seek to train people on committees along those lines, because the fear is that they've all dealt with committees in the past that get together, chat about all kinds of crap and do nothing. And more often than not, if someone's willing to volunteer their time, ideally it's not because they want to put it on a resume or or pat themselves on the back. It's because there's something they're interested in and they want to accomplish a goal, whether it's Recreation Commission or Conservation Commission, whatever it might be. You want to achieve something. So with a town, and I say this taking some personal responsibility for it not having gotten it done, the town has an opportunity, in my perspective, if we want to continue with a committee structure, to engage in training. And there are a few people out there who not only are good at it, but make it interesting. And out of that you find leadership, and from that leadership we stop getting these uncontested elections in places like, well, anywhere really, planning board, sewer commission, select board, because you've actually developed leadership. And that's, to me, that's probably one of the most overlooked areas of contribution that the select board could take on. So I'll leave it there.
I don't disagree. We're just working out the angles. It's been a awfully busy time trying to get some these things up and over the, King Street, town halls up again. Just, this, so much of the high hanging fruit we want to get past this. We got, last night was with the school committee and advisory. And again, the boards and committees, obviously the key to running the town.
Exactly.
And it is, I threw out something. This may sound crazy to this whole group. I'm like, what can we do to drag people in? Can we give them a free dump pass? Just something, some kind of draw. Here, get yourself.
I'll take it.
Not a bad idea.
They're still looking into it. So let's, it's just like, what can we do just to make it not only, all right, well, I got something I want to think about, but do I have the time? But if I get a free pass out of the deal, I think I'm going to join. I again, looking at every angle to draw people in, and it's it's been a struggle, as all of you are aware.
Yeah.
It's even, and you're right about the uncontested elections. I remember when I ran for the select board, I was up against 3 people. But it'd be nice to see it, really start to populate.
Yeah. Well, listen, I throw that out there because, as I said, I thought it was a missed opportunity years ago when I was on the select board. And we had, by the way, as Cindy can tell you, probably Paul groaned about it quite a bit. We had the same issue with respect to gaining volunteers on committees. It was incredibly difficult to get folks moving and throw their hand up. Very happy to squawk about what's not getting done, but very reluctant to get involved in helping to get it done. And we see it when I talk to people in other towns, they see the same thing. So any incentive you can find is helpful. And as I said, to me, I think one of the things that's most beneficial is being part of a group that accomplishes its goals, because you feel like you've done something and made a contribution. And that's that. Like I said, I'll leave it there. I thank you for filling us in on that. I was just thinking about it because I know David, I don't know if he's actually submitted his resignation yet or not. David Pfeiffer's leaving. We see as Rob Jeffers this was his last meeting. And as I pointed out, I will leave at the end of my term. So I'd hate to leave this this trust in a lurch. So thank you for filling us in.
No, we're going to try to drag them in, Steve. Again, it's just a matter of keeping the, my thoughts are, again, and Cindy, you'd opined on this as well, is keep the agenda short. You know, it may stretch out, you know, some applicant, but you take them as they come, is my thought. Get in, get your meeting done, do it, then, all right, we've accomplished that goal. So that's instead of, you know, you said it perfectly, Steve. It's like you look say you're 143 pages and things like that. A lot of people like to opine. It's all right, that's great. All opinions are welcome. But maybe if you bring something in, join.
Yeah.
You know, I
God,
think
I miss the local newspaper.
so do I.
Do. I really do.
Hey, guys,
Uh,
can I ask a quick question on this matter?
Go ahead, Ted.
I think I got a note from Cassandra that my term is up here. Maybe Steve, you and I could catch up on what you want to do, but I am glad to go and I am glad to stay. So if somebody can give me some advice about this, I will. I want to make sure we can carry on with the work, but I'm glad to do either, but I think my term is up.
Yeah, Ted, but that's my biggest fear is that we leave the trust empty. And by the
Yeah.
way, Cindy,
Please.
I'm sorry.
Please stay, Ted. Please stay. My term is up too, but
Okay.
I am
Yeah.
inclined to keep going so that there's some kind of, historical knowledge based on where we've been. I'm not willing to chair, but I'm more than happy to help just to keep it going.
Yeah, once again, and Ted, I don't think you were present for the meeting when I announced this about 4 months back. I've come to the recognition that in all likelihood, I will no longer be a resident of Cohasset probably 3.5 years from now, 4 years from now. Right.
Can you take me with you wherever you're going?
Oh. You don't know what condition I'll be in. You may not want to accompany me.
Right, so, look,
but that's and my reasoning behind this is that the Affordable Housing Trust has a terrific capability to affect the nature of the community, right? And I do not feel personally comfortable contributing to decisions that will effectively have a long-term impact on the community if I'm not going to be a long-term member.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that I've wrestled with for a long time. And that was the reasoning behind my decision. I didn't actually think it was going to be so difficult to find follow-on members. But I even as I look around now, I would typically reach out and recruit people.
Yeah.
And my network is shrinking. And I would like to think that I know enough people that I could tap on the shoulder and say, need your help.
Yeah.
Right. But, of those, many of them have served with us. I was really sad to hear Rob Jeffers leaving, but I understand it. His career and family circumstances now require his full attention.
Yeah.
This is not something they can contribute to. And I can't complain. That young man has given 10 years of his life to volunteer service in the town.
Yep.
So we do need people, and we do
All
need, and I am reluctant to leave the trust bereft. But at the moment, it appears to me that we would have 5 members. I think Rob Henry is intending to carry on. The select board will appoint a member. Paul, I hope you retain it. Cindy Matheson is good to carry on, and then that's 3.
All right. Oops, sorry I just got off the boat. Sorry, guys, on the horn. And then you made a great punchline. Hey, so look, here's what I'll stick around. I'll stick around until we get more people, and then let me also see if we can recruit some people for you, Paul.
Yeah, my reasoning, Paul, just one last thing for you, Ted. My reasoning for leaving at the end of the term is to make it simpler for the select board to appoint.
Yeah. Okay.
Ted and
All right.
Cindy, got one reappointment vote speaking to you right now. I promise you that.
Okay, thanks. And I'm coming. We had a nice session with you guys with the school committee last night, but I'm coming off of that one, and that takes a lot of time. And I'm not traveling overseas, so I'll stick around. I'll circle around and figure out what I got to do to get on your docket. But let's just keep this going until we get other members. I think it's probably
all right.
the right thing.
But
Okay.
thank you. I hope, Ted, that you don't feel like you're being backed into a corner. on
Not at
this.
all. No, no, no. Look, I'm
All right.
been slugging it out for the beautiful people of Cohasset for a long time. I might as well stick around for a little bit.
All right.
So-
Cindy, you have your hand up.
Just gonna say, I'd be happy to work with Cassandra, maybe when I come down to look over as you're raising the accomplishments that we've had. I know I had a document a while ago, maybe 2 years ago, that Lauren Lind and I had put together that showed the timeline of what we have done and what was still in the pipeline for affordable housing. And again, I'm good at words. I'm not good at marketing and presentation. That's not my thing, but I'm happy to put together what the information is if someone can help with, how it looks appealing or how we manage to distribute it. Maybe it's a flyer at the table at the health fair or something, but just to get the word out. This is a great committee to work on, and here's what we've done over the course of the last, 5 years.
Yeah, and I'd caution one other thing. Unlike a lot of committees, this one actually has some capability to act. Recall that we are semi-independent, right? And I say semi-independent because there is still a connection to the town and the select board, but we are allowed to make many independent decisions, obviously within the law, as being the nature of the trust. So it's not just a committee member, you're a trustee, and that carries with it some weight. So anybody who's maybe thinking that, serving on a ABC committee or XYZ committee is a nice conversation and, we make recommendations. Well, we don't make recommendations, we make decisions. And, and those decisions have impact. An example is 43 Elm, right? Taking a place that I don't think 4 rabid dogs and a monkey would have wanted to live, and renovated it. We'll put it back on the marketplace as an extraordinarily affordable unit for a family of up to 4 to live in.
We
So,
put it into our inventory for SHI, because remember,
Yeah.
it wasn't there before, so we
Right.
made that extra contribution.
right. And my point is that wasn't something that we had to ask anybody, for which we had to ask anybody permission, right? We were able to come to those conclusions as a unit. So, all right.
Steve, could I throw something in there that I just want to throw Cindy kind of a bone?
Go ahead.
Cindy, just a quick one. Kevin down in the town manager's office, Kevin Perry, he does.
Is he the new social media or
Yeah.
whatever marketing
And-
person?
He's doing a really good job. So by all means, get to him.
So
and-
what's his name again, Paul?
Kevin Perry, I believe.
Perry, okay.
For having a senior moment if I'm blowing it. But he's up in the town hall. And like I said, Chris Senior is putting out every week on his town manager's site is an invite to join the committees. So, anything we want to add, especially about affordable housing, if we can get that out there, what you have that's just pure ammo. So that would be a good thing to have.
Yeah, that's a very good suggestion.
He will publicize it and, that's, it might draw. So that's what we need, it draws.
With
Is
the
it-
previous communications director who left, and I haven't made contact with the new, so that's great to have his name.
Okay. Thank you. All right, now I'm going to move things to the next item. I would think that, Cassandra, we could probably have that whole conversation lumped under topics not anticipated 48 hours in advance.
Sure, I've been taking notes, but I can rearrange them.
Yeah. All right, next item on the agenda is administrative stuff. We've got an HOA invoice for 43 Elm Street. You may recall in a past meeting, I think it was last meeting, as a matter of fact, we received a quote because the longtime insurer for that unit for the master deed, Norfolk and Dedham, opted not to renew. The insurance agent went out to a number of other carriers. No one would like to underwrite it, primarily because of its proximity to the water. And I think also the fact that it's a condominium policy in very few units. So it's a risk that a risk that the agent had to go out and find under what are called supplemental lines. All right, I'm sorry to bore you guys with this, but basically insurance policies in the state of Massachusetts or any state are approved by the insurance commissioner. If the property that you're looking to insure can't be done under existing approved policies, then supplemental lines becomes the next step. And a supplemental line is finding an independent insurance syndicate or insurer who is willing to take on the risk, but typically it's going to be at higher cost. This one's being insured, or our unit, our master deed for 43 Elm Street condominium is being insured by Lloyd's of London at an annual cost of, I think, $5,500 or so. All right, which is about double what it had been. Nonetheless, the HOA takes care of payment of the policy as well as, as other common expenses. And our HOA fee for the quarter is, hold on just a second, let me look at the number, $1,430.92. All right. Now, I'm sorry, forgive me on this. Are we being asked to pay just this quarter, or are we being asked to pay throughout the year?
So right now it's just this quarter. They're gonna invoice a quarter at a time.
Okay, so 1430 comes out to, if my math is right, about $240 a month for the unit, assuming that they're equally split.
It is $476.97 a month.
Not even close. My math is in half. Okay. So that is the total HOA.
For February through April.
Right, but my point is that is insurance as well as other common expenses.
Yes, it's the, let's see.
It includes
Insurance,
maintenance and insurance.
Common area fees, etc. Electricity for common area lighting, landscaping, snow removal.
Right,
All that
okay,
stuff.
so we need, long and short of it is the question before us is whether or not we approve payment for this. And frankly, we don't have too many choices. So, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, second.
I'll move or second. I'm sorry, I was on mute. If you
Yeah.
need somebody there. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, so let's go around the horn with a roll call vote. Ted Carr.
Yep, yes.
Okay, Ted Carr, aye.
Aye.
Paul Grady.
All Grady, aye.
All right. Cindy
Cindy
Matheson.
Matheson, aye.
All right, and Steve Gomer, aye. So that motion passes unanimously. Let's go ahead and pay the HOA bill. The second item on the, next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the February meeting. Has everybody read them? Believe it or not, I have. All right. If we're in favor of approval, once again, can I go through each of you and just ask for a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All
Second.
right, motion and a second, once again, by roll. Ted Carr?
Approved.
All right, Ted Carr, aye. Paul Grady?
Approved.
Okay, Cindy Matheson?
Cindy Matheson, aye, approved.
Yeah, and Steve Gomer, likewise, aye. I approve the minutes. All right.
Before you close, Steve.
Yep, go ahead.
I would also consider this under not anticipated within 48 hours. We do have the final invoice from Christine Barrowford. It is in the amount of $300 and was for completion of the November, January, and February minutes.
What was we paid an invoice last month. And I remember it was for 3 months. I just don't remember which 3 months.
I can.
Can you Can you check on that? And by the way, did you
I
send?
did double check that she's not double invoicing us for anything.
No, and did you send along the Beresford invoice?
No, because it was received after the meeting invite went out.
All right, so this goes under topics not anticipated 48 hours in advance. Are each of you all right entertaining paying this final invoice?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so the chair moves that we pay the final invoice from Christine Beresford. And I'm looking for a second.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. So once again by roll, Paul Grady,
Paul Grady, aye.
Ted Carr,
Ted Carr, aye.
Cindy Matheson,
Cindy Matheson, aye.
and Steve Gomer, aye. Okay. That, I think, concludes our business, our stated business. I'm sorry, we didn't have the steering committee here. I will check with Paul and ask what the hell's going on. But thank you for confirming with him in advance. I know you confirmed with him, you can't make him attend. And I look forward to seeing each of you in April, if not before. All right.
Have a good day, everyone.
Wait, we've got to wrap up. So,
It's true.
Paul, why don't you throw it out there to close the meeting?
I would make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. How about a second, Cindy?
I second the motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Did we lose Ted though?
No, Ted Carr?
No, you lost them.
Well, let's just go through it anyway so that we formally conclude, even though we don't have a quorum anymore. Paul Grady,
Paul Grady, aye.
Cindy Matheson.
Cindy Matheson, aye. Ted's back.
I'm back. Sorry.
Ted Carr, Ted
Having all
Carr.
sorts of issues today, sorry. Aye.
Okay, that was you're assenting to a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Steve Gomer, aye. And therefore the meeting is adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Have a great.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Steve.
day.
You too.
Thanks, Cassandra.
You're welcome.